there's absolutely no people in the chat. I guess, I mean, it's really cool to sit here and talk, but no one wants to listen to us talk.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing that like it didn't like pull anything up in the live, but sometimes it just does that, so I wasn't thinking
Yeah.
anything too much. Let's see if I can pull it up here.
I have to pack a new bowl. I smoked half of it, thinking I was smoking it with everybody.
It's probably okay that okay, so that's not.
It feels like a Monday, is what it is.
Oh, that's why, because I'm looking at my damn page. So the whole time I'm like, yeah, I'm not seeing it either. Hey, there we are. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering, I'm like, we don't have a timer. Like, I just started to kind of think about it through the exciting haze. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Is this even live yet? Whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't really say anything too important for the collective. It's more like,
No.
I'm so glad you're coming
Introductions.
on the YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
Yes.
So what I'm seeing kind of like in the general energy is that, ooh, ooh. I think that Aries energy is just rough, but I don't know. In the collective, maybe people are really. I just keep pulling over and over again, like people paying attention to their own aggression and things that are their own fault, and then kind of making out the other side here. It's not really different energy. The Six of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, strength, realizing that people are holding themselves back, that it's like their own mindset, their own ideas around money. And it looks like, really pulling some old emotions to the surface here and kind of like trying to change, I say, behavior patterns. That's kind of been the
Yeah.
energy all week. So I like that though. The Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, like coming up with new ideas and things like that. I think that the major thing here more was like not just looking into the because obviously it's Aries energy, God of War. So we were definitely looking at our aggressive tendencies over the last week and what really needed to be released. And that's pretty much the energy here. But I think that people are being more mindful in the current energy. That's what it's kind of given. Last week, they damn sure weren't mindfully with each other. My comment section was brutal on the other channel. I'm like, why are you guys attacking each other? Like, what is happening? And it's like they're just attacking everybody. It's the energy. It's like, whew.
Yep. Yeah. I saw, felt, and maybe even participated, not in your comment section, but in my general life, with just a little smidgen of that energy. Thankfully, caught myself and was like, "Bitch, you're being a salty bitch. Like, slow it down. You
I
can
mean, that
reel it
was
in a little
everybody
bit."
though.
And
Where it's like usually where you wouldn't stop, and I think that usually where we would like address that like it was someone else's, like you made me angry, you did this. We were like, bitch, it's me that's bugging. I need
yep.
to stop bugging. And that was the whole like eclipse energy. I think for everyone to like really look at unhealed trauma and be like, ooh, that's a nasty little booger that's in there.
Sometimes it's like, even if you are bugging, I don't have to react because you're doing whatever you're doing. And that's been a part of my lesson this week, is like, no matter what anybody else is doing, stay grounded.
And I feel
Stay
like my
grounded.
own
Unless it's an
behavior.
emergency and I need to come ungrounded real quick. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for my channel group, that actually has been like a really hard process.
Yeah.
Like thinking before behaving and reacting.
I
But
about imagine.
it's not working out for everyone. I still am reading for a couple of signs where like they just can't be the fucking problem. You know what I mean? But like for the majority of people, like it's a very like accountable time and like this is how we need to change things moving forward. But so much beyond like just aggressive behavior. It's like their aggression towards themselves. And I think that is really like even though they're seeing how they're doing being aggressive towards other people and that might be like what's bringing it up, but it's like the
Mhm.
shit that we say to ourselves every day, the ways that we just keep sabotaging.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people looking at something they've never looked at before, as if they were the whole problem for the first time, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, all that energy
Absolutely.
is really life changing, so I like it.
I like that anger that is like the fuel to the fire of motivation, but not the volatile energy, that doesn't get you anywhere, that over aggression, no. Yeah.
I think it's kind of weird with humans too, because we try to really like deny our aggression or make it someone else's, you know, because we see it as bad.
Yeah.
And it's like I can be aggressive and not be impulsive.
Yeah. That's a part of how this channel started for me is like, I have all kinds of feelings. What do I do with them? And a lot of it was, well, I create and I like art. And maybe, I'm not really the best at it, but it makes me feel my best when I'm expressing. And so like I had painted my bedroom and my daughter's room and things like that. And I found that while I was doing it, and it was like a whole magical experience without me even realizing that that's what it was until afterwards. It was putting on music and just purging my home, cleansing it to the best of my ability, preparing it for new layers of new life. And I painted, and it was like released my expression onto the walls and the ceiling and just everywhere. And it came out beautiful. And I felt amazing afterwards, just cathartic.
Hmm.
And it's like expression, but again, passionate.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, it's more like
I have
coping. It's
rage,
like
I have anger, but how do I express it
expel
without
it. Yeah.
being crazy? Without
Because the way we react, we really are just fucking wasting energy, whether people know it or not. You know, it's like that's really where things start going wrong. Because before that, somebody's just saying something or they're just doing something. But the minute that you start like throwing in all the energy, that's how someone drains your energy. You know, I think a lot of people don't get that. They think someone's like literally sucking it with a
they
straw. And it's
get
like,
you to be the
no,
one saying and doing the things and yeah.
exerting a whole bunch of energy that they're unwilling to give. So like it's kind of a superpower to not use it though, and to sort of like sit back and say, what is this aggression? Why am I feeling it? And what can I do with it? That's like productive though, you know? It's like, can I talk about how you're making me feel later when I'm not so angry or aggressive? And what do I do with my anger and aggression when I have it?
Yeah.
'Cause my life truth is like the cancer folks, and let's just keep it real, 6 months ago, they didn't know what to do with that anger or aggression. You know, they definitely made it someone else's versus, just a few months later. And people are like highly aware of like their own behavior patterns and styles. And it's been like a really profound year so far. And it's only gonna get crazier.
Yeah.
What was it looking like on your end?
All right. So I'm going to run through and show you guys all my pretty pictures over here. Well, pretty stickers. Um, Magician energy, living in faith. Beep, beep. Kept in a box. Grime fest. I, I always get something like dirty being cleansed. We have a train and a bottle. I already got a really cool energy with that. I'll I'll come back to. Justice card in the reverse. In the upright, it says no crime rate. A little bit of crime happening. We have the beer card, trickling, but it's in the reverse. Turn it down, stealthy level, death card energy. We have connecting and bonding. This was cute when it fell out. I was shuffling. We were like doing our introductions and connecting and bonding, and I felt it. I was like, cute. The caffeinated. Uphill battle, something extreme, something fast, something really important. No upper hands to be had. The feminist. The margarita. Someone's going to have poor work performance tomorrow. Beep.
Thanks.
Left in the reverse. Somebody's got nothing left for something. And last but not least, El Camarón. Little like shrimp dude. So I had to look that up and be like, what deck did that come from? And what does it mean? And it means to dig deeper. It means to be careful somebody wants you, or that there is value here, or that things may not be as they appear. So when I see the train, all right, I've been talking about this in my day-to-day lately, and I actually just talked about it with my mom and my grandmother yesterday. 3 generations of witches standing on my grounds talking about life and dreams and things that I haven't opened my mind or my heart up to dream about since I was a kid, not when it comes to generational value in my family, because I've been a cycle breaker for a reason. But generally, it was like collaboration. The train for me is a lot of people talk about, well, if I hit it big, I win the lottery, I'm going to buy a giant house and I'm going to have 20 cars and I'm going to have a horse track and things like that. Mine would be more like the gypsy train, the shanty train, where everyone that, you know, should be there gets to have a little cart on wheels. If they're being salty or we're being salty and they don't want nothing, unhitch. Maybe come back later. We'll pick you up on the next loop around. But it's like, I don't know. I had this thought like everyone could work from home in their own little home on wheels. And, one day's farm stand day and the next day's art project day. And, wheel around and I don't know,
It's
fun
like a
little
little
things like that.
community on wheels. I like that.
Yeah. So it's like collective energy starting to live in a faith that either existed such a long time ago that it feels anciently forgotten, and or living in a faith that never actually became a full-on vibration because life got in the way so long ago. This kept in a box energy with the little cassette on there, it always makes me think, old lives, but it's like old, but not old, just sacred dreams, hope energy being let out, released. And with the justice card in the reverse and no crime rate in the reverse, it's almost like somebody's going to have to Robin Hood it just a little bit. They're going to have to get down and dirty just a little bit in order to make things a reality. But it's all for a purpose, and it's all like of sober and sound choice, which is really important. Really, really, really important. When I get this turn it down stealthy level directly after that beer card in the reverse, that just doubles in. It's like somebody's found a way to, so I say it in like Homie Haven and stuff, and you had done your uh support group and things about uh growing in recovery, whether it's from substances, whether it's from toxic energies, whether it's from not eating the right foods, whether it's, whatever it is. Turning that down, maybe not coming to an understanding, because with the stealthy level and the justice card in the reverse, it's like there's going to be a little bit of shadow. There's going to be a little bit of, you know, shit, but that shit's like a fertilizer, compost.
Yeah, once we're aware of the shit, we can grow in it.
Yes. Yes. But then I'm getting something also about, I just saw like a friggin' magic mushrooms, and it's like almost like once you make the choice to purge your life and get away from whatever those situations are that you don't want trickling in anymore, the things you want to turn down, oftentimes it'll come right back at you full force to be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Make sure.
That's the willpower.
Yeah.
I
So
do feel
yeah.
like this will be a testy time from the universe. It's like whenever you're given a lesson and you're aware of what the lesson is, they're like, okay, but let's see if you really got it. And then they
Yeah.
like whip the like boss daddy monster at you, like top tier level bad guy, and see how you react to it. I feel like
So
everybody's aware that that's coming though. They're like, ooh, I can feel it just coming.
I like how you say that. I used to say this thing and I caught myself one time. And, I can't guarantee I'll never slip up and say it again, but I've had the realization and it is in there, the little epiphany. I used to say this thing. I'd be like, yeah, I've got a long list of bad guys in my past. And it's like, well, that's because I was being a bad person. It's because I was a bad guy. Like, so stop saying that. And all the bad guys, look at all those bad guys. Just stop being the bad guy. And there's not going to be a fucking list of bad guys to, address.
I think it's hard for people because, like, it depends on how they were raised. If the villain in their story started then, everybody will always be a villain. And I think they don't know that until they really break that cycle. And I'm gonna keep it real, that's not happening until your 30s. It's just not.
Right. Right.
For some
I'm
people,
still
and
learning
again,
every
I
day.
have some people that, really have like disordered thinking too. Like they really do have problems, like, personality disorders and things like that. We're talking about 10 years later than the average person finally coming to terms with their, own awareness. And the energy is rough though, and I think everybody is at a different level of awareness, but not a place they were before. But I think that that has weird, we talk about it in a really good way. It's like, yay, I'm finally accountable. And maybe for people like you and me that have been on this healing path for, 10 years plus, like, yeah, we're happy with this energy. We've been going for this. But there's a large group of people that this is their first shot in the healing game. Like they have been walking around not even looking at wounds, not even aware they had them. They've never went into their childhood before, and that group exists too. And like I think this energy is very different for them. It's still volatile because you and I both know what it's like one day to wake up accountable,
Yep.
and then you have to sort through old things that may or may not have been your fault and try to like go through all that energy and just grieve a bunch of relationships, friendships that we didn't even know to grieve because we just couldn't be the problem, and I feel like that's the accountable energy is nice, but it's also painful, I think, for a lot of people right now.
Yeah. I channeled a song for this reading without realizing that's what I did. And you just said the key thing. So I keep looking at my nails every time I bring a card up. My nails hurt too bad. I'm not supposed to put the chemicals on there and finish getting my nail polish off right now. I just need to leave them alone and let them be what they are. And as
I
I
don't
was
know,
getting
I'll
ready
do
for
them
the
too,
reading,
so.
yeah, um, I have one of my favorite songs is Nova Rockefeller, I'm a Problem. And or yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the video. And literally, she purposely does her nails like, the 90s kids with, she's got the plaid shirt on and the messed up nail polish. And I'm like, I started hearing that song in my head as I was getting ready for the reading. So anybody that needs a song today,
There it
yeah.
is.
But that one, it's also a lot about like, yeah, I'm the problem, but I'm not the fucking problem, you know? Like, I'm problematic, but I'm not the fucking problem. Um, in a different way, not refusing to accept self accountability, but for me, that song kind of helped me accept responsibility for choices that I was making and putting off as if other people were making those choices for me at one point in time.
I feel like that's been a big shift with everyone's energy right now too. Where what I mean with the accountability is like I'm stopping my own career. I'm stopping myself from doing this. You know, other people don't have that power or control over me, which is good because that's very powerful once you recognize that nobody can stop you. But
Yes.
again, grieving how for the last 20 years you've just been like fucking actively working at the same shit job and killing yourself, and you could have been, 15 years ahead when it comes to finances. So I think that it's not an easy energy because like a lot is being released, but everybody's forced to really like look into that. So I think this week everybody's kind of like just trying to relax and take it easy after a week of just absolute fuckery because it really was a couple of weeks. Like I don't know about everyone else, but I was feeling 2 full weeks before that,
My
because we
top
went from a
favorite song
lunar
right now
eclipse
is Hell of
all
a
the way to
Year.
a solar. It is going to be a hell of a year. There's too much
No,
stuff
it
happening.
already has been, and it's only April. I mean, we're 4 months in, and it has been one hell of a
Yeah,
year, dude.
we've only just started eclipse season.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be
It
another.
it's funny though. It was like as soon as that eclipse finished, I felt an energy break inside of my body that has been so heavy that I could barely even breathe through it. And I'm like telling myself, like, I don't know, because I do brain stuff where I'll be like, oh, it's, it's the solar energy. And then I'm like, but you can't put everything off on, the sun and the moon and the stars. Like, take accountability for your life. And if you spilled the milk, just clean it up. Don't scream at fucking Mercury and tell her she's a bit, things like that. Um, yeah, that kind of just like, all I can really, the best feeling, it's, it really broke when the eclipse, I'm like,
No,
thank
I
you.
I really did feel the energy. Like I was outside under it, and it was just like all this weight was lifted.
Yeah, I felt like knots in my chest. Like you usually get them in your back, It's like just in my chest, in my throat, just knots. I'm like, man, something's got to give.
I think sometimes we don't know how much we're actually carrying around.
Yeah.
The average person realize how strong they really are, that they've been just carrying around like 10, 15, 20 years worth of trauma, baggage, oppression. And it's, finally lifted, but it was definitely like, literally you could just feel the shift as soon as it took place. It was like, finally, it's a new season. And like, since the eclipse now, it's like the weather has been better and there's, like all this spring stuff is happening, which is good too, because like I have a lot of people where I feel like they have SAD, so like breakups in the winter are the worst thing they could ever go through.
Yeah.
Like if it was any other season, they would be fine. But right before the dead of winter, oh my gosh, and so many people did. They like sat the
Yeah.
winter out completely alone. So it was like really like eclipsing that like depressive, dark energy of the winter and depression together. So holy shit,
Yes.
it's finally spring again. I feel like a whole human again.
Yes. I really enjoyed the uh like collective vibe that I kept seeing. So like for the whole week ahead, you'd hear people just, talking about, oh, you can go get a free pair of eclipse glasses over here. So like around big major commercialized holidays, Christmas, well, you can go spend $100 over here and get this for a great present. But it was like really cool to just see people, frantically excited about a free pair of glasses or kids talking about how to make the things with the boxes. And then to go outside in my neighborhood, people don't wave at each other, not really. If they do, it makes you like feel really special because you got a wave from somebody around here. Like, huh. But everybody was outside in their yards. Everybody was like talking amongst themselves, and you'd go out and people weren't. Things were crazy. People are beeping, driving and things. But when you're standing still, people were connecting and talking about it and talking about what they thought it was going to be like, and it was just nice. It was connective. That card of connection that we had there.
I mean, there's a lot of Aquarian energy at play there too. So I feel like community has been the whole sense,
The
and that's
connecting
I
and the
think
bonding.
part of people where people have been looking at is why they're not connecting, why they're not bonding, and their community, like how they're playing a part in it. It's definitely the Aquarian energy, but driving people to do so, you know? Like I found myself mostly frustrated, I think, around the sense of community. Like I was getting angry when people were attacking each other in the comments in my videos to the point where I'll just delete the whole video. Now you hoes can't even watch this because you can't act right. And I felt
Yep,
like I was literally mothering a bunch of children. Like like they were, but everybody went from attacking each other back to supporting one another. Like that though, it was
that
like
came
just
up
from
as one of the
very
card of
volatile
days. We're growing children, but on the aspect of hopefully in the sense of like reparenting to become who we wanted to be, Yeah. Not going to say I don't have childish temper tantrums from time to time, but the aim is to go the other way.
Well, I don't think I'm willing to still sometimes have a childish temper tantrum because it's human, and but I'm not doing it every day though.
Just have to do
That's
it maturely. Honestly, I'll set myself up in a mature manner to have a childish outburst, like with myself, lock myself in, and
yeah,
feel
that's my
whatever
thing.
I
Is like
have to
just storm
feel
off
to
to
heal
go be
it.
alone, and I really ask myself, why am I feeling like this, and what can. Honestly, I do tarot readings with the energy because everybody else seems to be in the same mood, so it's fine. But learning to cope with that instead of like taking it out on someone else or just like really my problem is overreacting. Period.
Yeah. Mine is like I will literally like, don't judge me monkeys, but if I feel like my quiet rage building or something, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna like I will go lock myself in my bedroom and like revert to on my bed, like a just like my goodness, kicking that thing and yelling and screaming at my pillows, and my bearded dragon's over there looking at me like, we good? I'm okay, like I can't help you from in here, Mom. We okay? But then he plays a big role in it too, because that's like, certain little things can help to ground that energy.
Yeah, he's
And it
bringing you back to
is,
the now.
yeah,
Just
yes.
see now
I'll
what
look at
is
him
there.
and he'll be like looking at me like, what the are you doing? And I'll be
Interesting
like, wait a
that
minute, what am
people
I
talk all
doing?
the time like about honoring their inner child, and they only talk about the good aspects, like letting yourself have ice cream for breakfast and things like that. But actually, I think what you're talking about is like my best way to honor my inner child. Because if I had reacted like that as a child, I'd have had my ass whooped, like whooped. So I
Yes.
could not do
Yes,
that in
ma'am.
my home. I had to just take my anger and take it inside. And so doing things like
Internalize
that
it.
to me is truly like honoring your inner child. Like I'm going to let myself have a temper tantrum because that's who I am. I have those, but I'm going to do it in a way where it doesn't affect or hurt somebody else. And
Yes.
that's grown. It's not that you're not
Yep.
going to have it. We all have that in us, but no
In
longer
my
even
allowing
denying
myself
it.
to do that, I realized something as a parent, because I, for the majority of my child's childhood, have parented her the way that I was parented without realizing that I was doing so, and not to the extremes, but the small little things, and it's almost like I was telling myself, well, you're not beating her, you're not doing this, she's not, so you're okay, you're okay, not telling myself I'm great, I'm perfect, but we're keeping afloat, but it's like, no, because then my brain's not focused on all the small little things that are getting through the cracks, like me telling her, oh my goodness, like if you're gonna have a temper tantrum, fine, but like, or just honestly, you don't need to cry about that. There's no reason to cry about that. Just go focus on this. And it's
Yes,
like, no,
becoming our own
she's crying. She
invalidating
has a reason
mothers.
to cry about it. She wants to feel it. But at the same time, trying to teach her, because I do have my daughter is with a man that was diagnosed. He went and had all the like brain scans and whole 9 yards, narcissistic personality coupled with antisocial personality on top of a bunch of other things. Double traumatic, uh, post traumatic brain
Oh,
injury to two separate lobes of the brain. So, and in me being a codependent partner and having narcissistic abuse syndrome, which tends to make a victim a narcissist, and learning how to fight that off, because you have to become, sometimes in extreme situations, you have to become like the fire so that you can fight that fire and get out of it. And then you have to learn, oh shit, well, now I'm on fire. How do I put myself out? How do I stop being that, what burned me? And my daughter, 11 years old at this point, has had an awful lot of learning to do. And we, we have, but it's like, so from my angle, I was always raised, you can't feel, you can't show emotion, or you're gonna feel even worse for it. Um, her father has the extreme narcissistic rage where it will be broken doors and, broken faces and things like that.
maybe not broken
So,
faces, but definitely broken household items for sure. That was me back in the day.
yeah. And I've done it absolutely, kicked over tables and things, but um and my daughter, I did get out of the home with her when she was 5, 6 years old, but there's still that residue. There's still residual memories and trauma stored, and so trying to teach her, um, because like, so with her father, a lot of what I realize is when he's punching the doors and doing all the things, he's literally letting me know, letting anyone that he's dealing with at the time know, this is what I want to do to you. This is what I want to do to you. You should feel lucky that it's this wall that has a hole in it instead of your face. And that was his vibe. So, and that's very manipulative. It's like, so next time you're just going to do what I say. And my daughter was starting to pick up on that just a little bit. They are sponges. They are a part of their environment. And then my reactions are internalize, internalize, internalize everything until I just can't anymore. And then I react. And then people are like, oh, look
And
at
that
this bitch.
reaction
She's
doesn't
crazy.
look any
She's
different
crazy,
than the
man. And I'm like,
narcissistic reaction.
well, fine. You want to call me crazy? I'll show you crazy. And then it just snowballs. Or I can be like, all right, I teach myself first. Yep, I can go have a meltdown, but this is my rules. These are my boundaries for myself while I feel my feelings and deal with my shit. Nobody else is going to suffer because I'm suffering. So I'm not going to sit here and do it in the living room and break everything around me. But I will go off in my room, and I'm sorry if you hear me, but understand that's my release, and I'm not, you don't have to worry that I'm coming for you. Like, I'm coming for whatever's inside of me right now that I need to feel and release. And then I'll tell my daughter, if you need to feel something, you feel it. If you want to cry because you were told no, you want to have a temper tantrum because something sucks, you do it. But you do it without manipulating other people to be like, you see how I feel. You feel how you feel, and you can express how you feel and be like, this is how I feel, but figure out how to express it without making other people feel your pain exactly as you do. It's a really
I
important
think
thing to
that that's true.
recognize.
It's definitely harder for other people. Like if we're talking about like true narcissistic or true, like especially with ASPD characteristics, they're actually not in control of that impulse. So I'm not sure that it is manipulation or that it even is to make someone else scared. It is literally to expel this energy that they are not in control of. So I just wanted to say that so you understood it better, so it didn't sound like,
Yeah.
somebody really was like trying to like kill you for a long time. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I just think that that rage is very different with ASPD. Like narcissistic rage is really just sort of smash everything off the table and then leave, you know? But the ASPD, obviously, we're talking about extreme domestic violence. And so, yeah, that's gonna sit with people forever. probably traumas that you're still holding from it. And it is manipulation from them folks because it's like you're about to be terrified of me until it's like you know that one day that will be your face if you don't act right. And that's very different than like a lot of the like, narcissistic rage that I'm aware of and deal with clients. And so they are really two different like functions, but like unfortunately with ASPD, how unpredictable it is and the fact that they cannot control it, I don't know. That's some trauma that takes 20 years to work through later. That somebody's not just going to hit you out of nowhere. That they're not just going to like punch a hole straight through the wall to get into the room. I've seen these situations with these people. A lot of people like my ex is a narcissist. They start explaining all the shit. And I'm like, that's not narcissism, baby. That's scary. I think you need to get up out of there. So I feel that those situations. But yeah, I mean, allowing myself and anyone else to have a temper tantrum. Because if you just let them, honestly, look like a baby. I don't care. Get on the floor, scream, whatever. That needs to come out.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think in therapy like this, I think to me, this is the biggest part with behavioral therapy. Like, how do you just handle that? Because like you're purposely triggering someone to see where the fucking trigger is at and make them to look at it. So I'm actually so used to this at this point that it's not even ridiculous. It's just another way of someone like really talking to me, but probably in the most profound way. Like in those moments, they're actually saying to me what they have been through and what they feel. So I've actually started taking
Mm.
other people's like triggers and trauma responses as a better way to know them. That shit used to bother me a lot. I'd be like, what the fuck is this person's problem? And why are they so aggressive?
Right. There tends to be explanations and reasonings and things, for
But I
sure.
think that's another thing that was brought to the surface in this is not just like our own aggression and understanding ourselves, is the like truly understanding other people and their aggression and where it comes from and why to not be bothered by it or take it. Because I think a lot of people like they base their self-esteem around someone else's behavior, which is insane because that person 80% of the time is not in control of their behavior. It's like a really bad thing to do, but I think people are finally kind of like seeing that too. Like my aggression is mine and your aggression is yours. It doesn't have anything to do with me, and vice versa. So I feel like that's also really healing, especially to people that did suffer like a lot of trauma, really understanding those situations from both sides. It's like, yeah, you're a motherfucker, but this is where I slip in with it every time. This is where
Yeah.
you get me every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm probably gonna get out of here so you can do what you need to do this morning. And honestly, I think we both need more coffee. I'm
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
probably gonna get out of my pajamas now.
I'm half and half. I was like, I'm looking pretty sloppy in my jammies, so I'll put a pretty little throw on over it.
But I got like a regular top on, and I did cover some things up, but I still got the PJ pants and the slippers
Yeah, you
going.
look cute and comfy. Yeah.
I might stay this
Well,
way for the
thank
rest
you
of my
very much
coffee
for doing
session.
this.
Yeah, this was fun. We should do it again. We'll like
Yeah.
maybe organize more of like a thought out reading. This was just
Yeah.
a hey guys, look at us. Cool
Yes.
gang.
Woo! Yes.
All right. So
Awesome.
let me know. Yeah, we'll get together and talk about whenever we both have time for that coming up, and I think that'll be cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Make sure if you guys are on my channel that you subscribe to her channel. It's in my featured channel section.
Yes, and I was about to ask, can I feature you?
Yeah,
I'm
if you
still
want
learning
to.
all the ropes of YouTube and things. I feel like that'd be cool. Be like, yeah.
It's just like I think I think people use that section more than like like I had them in the description below before. It
Yeah.
was just like lists of things that people are like, I don't know what this link is. But like when I feature the channel, it just like is easier for them to get from one to the other. So
Yeah. I've had at least a couple people come over because you started featuring me over there. So I'm thankful. And I'm like, can I like double end that and just be like,
oh,
my
I
my
mean, I
homies,
just
go
do
check her
that
out.
with I just I do that for readers because like it's kind of like paying for the guy behind you's coffee.
Yeah, I
It
seriously, there
just
are some
snowballs.
days where I feel like, I get that imposter syndrome where it's like, even though I literally was born and raised to do this stuff. My mother is a witch. My mother made spirit boards, like just the whole 9 yards. My first deck was a fairy oracle deck because my family line is said to be through mythology, like, fairy royalty and this whole cool story. And it's like,
Faithful.
yeah, but I still tell myself, no, like, no, you're no good at this. And this, imposter
Well, I
syndrome.
mean,
I feel that
I think
sometimes. And
YouTube is not very affirming either. It's
yeah,
just not affirming, you know.
yeah,
So for me, it's like I like to, just support people when they're because where a person goes after they hit 1,000 is on them. But gaining that first 1,000 is just like so random. So I just promote people. I'll just like share their stuff, and it starts off with like 260 views, and then it just keeps snowballing. But then those readers do it for the next reader because they know what it meant for them, because there's like two different worlds in the tarot community here.
yes,
We got the people at the top, and I don't think they give a shit about other readers, or some of them. I wonder if they even care about their own collective. I'm not gonna lie. They just very, self-oriented, and that's fine. They already made it, but I just feel like I don't know, it's a community for me. I don't like when
yes.
you
I was
like
about to say
that
community can
tarot
be
reader and that
important.
tarot reader, like this, these we're all one. Like we're actually a huge group of people telling the collective story of it all. So like that's weird to me, but like promoting people, I think is like it's just important on YouTube because it's fucking hard, you know?
Yeah,
And it doesn't always work out that great, you know? It's like you share their video one time, they get like a bunch of hits, and then YouTube does the same shit again, you know? But
yeah,
for, like the channels that are coming up, listen to us. It's not easy, just keep going. Like the more content you put,
yeah,
the better it gets. But if you give up, nothing happens.
yeah.
That's the thing. So,
That is some of the most simple yet absolutely significant advice that I've received along the way and failed to take sometimes. But when I do take it and I'm like, yep, nope, just do what you got to do. Just do what you got to do. Just do it. It's like, I don't care what else is going around. There's always going to be something happening. Just do what you have to do. Then it's like,
yeah, I mean, like for me, I'm working for the divine,
yep.
you know?
And it's almost like when I
And
finally just give in and do what I got to do and fight through my fear, that energy breaks almost like the eclipse
well, what
thing,
I've
but it's a
learned is that
different
he
energy
just
break.
doesn't pay me for anything that's not hard to get and I don't dedicate myself to. And that's like that's the truth. So like once I really was like just all in the channel, no matter what was happening, I was gonna push through. That's when things happen, you know. So it's yeah, you just can't give up. And it's honestly like a snowball effect. Once you get to a certain count, it's like my first 1,000 was hard to get. The second 1,000 I think was even harder to get. Honestly, it's like I had the
Mhm.
same 1,000 people watching me all the time, but it really was not suggesting me to new people. Once I
Right.
got to the second to 2,000, it just ended up 7,000 really fast. So
You get out of the
you just
rut
got
and
to
into
stick
the
with it till it
snowballing
gets
effect.
better.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's the AI overlords. That's the truth.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
I'm really gonna get out of here. I'm craving coffee.
Yes, me as well. Thank you very much, hon. You have a good day. And thanks to all the viewers.
See you guys later.
Bye. I don't know how to do it.